Welcome to the Jill on Money Call of the Week. Remember, we love to hear from you. Send us an email, askjill@jillonmoney.com, askjill@jillonmoney.com, or you can go onto the website, jillonmoney.com. There's a Contact Us button right there, and tell us what you're thinking about. And if you want to come on the air, you can come on the air. If not, we'll just answer that email. Okay? All right, let's go and talk to John right now. Hey, John, welcome to the program. What can I do for you?
Hey, Jill, glad to be here. So I had a question for you. Me and my wife are about 28 and 29 years old, and our goal is to reach financial independence by age 40 or thereabouts.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So you are the FIRE people, the financial independence, retire early.
We want to be, yeah.
Great.
So with that goal in mind, we were wondering about how we should invest going forward over the next 11 or 12 years, because our understanding is a 401k, that sort of money would not be accessible until well after age 40.
So that's actually a very interesting comment. You bring that up, and I just want to point that out to people for younger people listening. Normally, we'll just sort of say to people, hey, max out your 401k, but you're absolutely right. If you tap that account before you're age 59 and a half, there could be a problem. Let me go back a second. So you and your wife, how much do you guys make together?
A little over $300K a year.
Okay. Do you both have stable jobs?
Very stable.
Oh, I love very stable. Will either of you be expecting a pension?
No.
Okay. Kids yet or no kids yet?
We're expecting 2 kids this year.
What? Your wife's pregnant with twins?
Correct, yes.
Holy smokerinos. Oh, my gosh. Okay. I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
Do you know the sex yet or sexes?
2 girls.
2 girls. Are they, wait a minute. Would you know you don't know from a sonogram whether they are fraternal or identical, do you?
They are fraternal.
Okay.
We found that out a couple of weeks ago from the doctor.
Oh, my gosh. When are you guys due?
In May, somewhere around there.
What are you going to do during this period in terms of maternity, paternity leave? What are you planning on doing?
So we're both fortunate that both of our companies will offer, I think, 90 days of leave.
Okay, great. Now, let's move on and see, how are you currently managing the $300,000 a year that you're earning? Do you own a home?
Yes, we own our home here, and we also own a couple of investment properties.
Oh, interesting. The home here is worth, the primary, how much is that worth?
About $570. We just bought it last year.
Fantastic. What's the outstanding mortgage amount?
$550.
All right. So you didn't put a lot of money down. What's the rate? What's the rate on that?
3.5, 3.6.
That's great. Is it fixed?
Yes.
And 30-year?
30-year.
Okay. So you're going to stick around. You bought that house because you got these twins. You got to have a house. Okay. Investment properties, what are they worth and what are their outstanding mortgage balances? You can, give me a one by one.
One is worth about $80,000. It's a condo I bought in college, and I think we owe about $20 on it.
Okay.
The other is the home we lived in before we moved to Virginia. That is worth about $170, and we would owe about $130.
Are you trying to sell it, or are you just keeping it as income property?
I am keeping them as income property for now.
Okay. And when you look at the cash flow from these properties right now, not, pretending that the mortgage just sticks around forever, what's the cash flow look like? How much are you bringing in every month?
From both of the properties, it would be about $500 or $600 over expenses.
That's fantastic. And that's only going to improve if you really do keep them, right, over time. So there's that
correct.
passive income that's coming through. All right. Are you both using 401ks through work?
No. So I use a 401k. She has a TSP.
Okay. And are you maxing them or not?
Not maxing them.
How much are you putting into the 401k? Do you get a match?
Yeah, we do get a match. So about 5% goes into the 401k.
And that's what you're putting in terms of your contribution as well?
Yeah.
Okay. And your wife, what is she doing in the thrift savings plan?
Her thrift savings plan is 10% of her income. So she makes about 100.
Mm-hmm.
So 10% of that goes into her TSP.
Fantastic. Okay. So I know you're going to have a ton of expenses coming up. I get that. But the way that life is being lived today, what is your cash flow on that 300 after you've basically put the money into your retirement accounts and paid your basic bills? Is there money left over every month?
There's about, I'd say, average 3,500 left over.
Great. That's fantastic. And do you think that that's going to change because of the kids? In other words, will you have to pay someone to help you out in the house and babysitting or nanny or anything like that?
Yeah, most likely.
How much of that do you think of the $3,500 a month is? What do you think's just going to go away at some, essentially because of the kids?
Probably about $2,000 a month if I'm being.
Yeah.
If we're lucky.
All right. So then there'll be $1,500 a month is what we're talking about. And by the way, while you have this fat cash flow and this nice surplus, we want you to be socking it away just in terms of some safe money. Do you have a, let's call it an emergency reserve / new babies fund?
Yes, about $40,000 in cash.
Okay. How much do you have in each of your retirement accounts right now?
Not much. So I would believe in the TSPs there's about 15 or 20,000,
mm-hmm.
and in mine there's about 15,000.
Okay. Any other investments out besides those retirement accounts? Any brokerage accounts?
Small brokerage account with about 5,000.
Okay. And there's no debt beyond the mortgage, correct?
So we do have student loans.
Oh, now you tell me. I'm just kidding. Okay.
Yeah.
How much?
120,000.
Your wife is part of a TSP, which makes me think that she is part of the government. Is she part of a student loan forgiveness plan?
She's not.
Okay. How are you, when you told me you had $3,500 a month that was free cash flow, did that include paying down the minimum on the student loans or more than the minimum?
We are paying more than the minimum on the student loan.
Yeah.
Simply because we don't want them to get bigger
mm-hmm.
with the interest.
Mm-hmm. Why the financial independence by 40? What's the 40 is obviously sort of like an idealized number, but you guys are young. I'm wondering why you've put this goal out there.
It's not necessarily to retire, but I think after working for a couple of years, we've only been working for about 2 or 3 years, we both have kind of an entrepreneurial feeling inside of us.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of want to get to a place where we could afford to maybe start a business that might not be profitable for 2 or 3 years.
Interesting. Okay. So that's a little bit different. So I'm intrigued by that. Okay. So generally speaking, I think that you guys are on track to at least try something like that. Obviously, the student loans are the sort of the boogeyman in all of this, because I think you would probably feel a little bit under the gun to start a new business carrying all of that debt into a new business. So by that time, we'd want you to have those student loans paid off. What are the interest rates about?
5 to 6%.
Yeah, I mean 5 to 6 is fine. It's not crazy. It's not credit card rates, but it's a high enough rate that I want you to get that paid off. So that means that while you have this free cash flow, you've got a couple of choices. It sounds to me like the emergency reserve fund, at least in the next, I would just take all of your free cash flow and throw it into that emergency reserve fund before the kids are born. Okay. And don't do anything with it. Then once they're born, what you really need to figure out is, how's my cash flow? And then from there, you're going to have a couple of decisions to make, because you're going to have, as I see it, a few competing goals. One is to get this non-retirement investment account, built up from the 5,000 that's in there. The second is certainly to have the student loans paid off. And the third may be to establish a education fund, because obviously you guys are educated and that becomes something important to you. What you guys are going to need to figure out, and this is between the two of you, do any of these take precedence over the other? I think that, almost no matter what, I would want you to pay more down towards the student loans going forward. And maybe what you simply do is you take the income from the investment properties and pop that down on top of the student loans. Just say, hey, my investment properties are going to help accelerate my student loan pay down. And then with the $1,500 a month, you can either put that all into a brokerage account and just start to really crank and build that up. Or you can put some in the investment account, some in a brokerage account, and some in a 529 plan. The real point here is that you guys have to be on the same page about what's important to you. Have you had that conversation yet?
Yeah, we've had a similar conversation to what you're referring to. I think we're both kind of watching and waiting now, having neither one of us been parents before.
Yeah.
To see exactly what that's going to look like, but
right.
I completely agree with your approach.
Yeah, I think that that's really where I'd want to be. Now, I don't know if you're really going to be able to make this shift or not. I don't. And I think part of it has to do with the trajectory of your careers. You're making 200, she's making 100. Does that mean in 3 years you could be making a lot more? Do you project that? Is that something that could happen? That's one thing. But on the other hand, as you said, maybe you decide we're not happy both working full time. It doesn't make us feel good. We want to, have a little more flexibility. And so, one of us is going to have a job which is not going to be seeing huge upside growth. All of these things are going to impact whether or not you can try to start a business or not. But I think in the near term, you know what you need to do, right? It's stockpile money, be parents, see how that feels. And then I think that in the process, paying down student loan or accelerating the student loan pay down and building up either your brokerage or your 529 accounts, whatever you choose to do, that could be a priority. And what you really need to figure out is at the ripe old age of 28 and 29, starting your own business sounds great. That may not seem like something that's so great 10 years from now. It might be even in 5 years, you might say, wow, to start your own business, maybe only one of us really wants to do that because the other one wants to be able to work, get benefits, feel confident that, there's no change to the cash flow. So I think you're a bit in flux. And whether you're going to be able to start that business or not in the next 10 or 12 years is really going to be something you should just be open to. I wouldn't try to draw a line in the sand. I think it would be really important for you to be flexible in this period. And it sounds like you are. So I think, you sound like you're in good shape. I wouldn't go crazy. And in terms of just the way you approach your investing, I think being growth investors in your late 20s is an important goal in terms of long-term money. If in the next few years you start to really believe that, yes, we're going to need some startup capital, that money cannot be invested in such a risky way. You have to be very careful about that.
Agreed.
Anything else? Do you guys have a will?
No, we don't have a will.
There is the gaping silence that I love. It's that moment where you say, should I tell her the truth or should I lie? All right, I don't know her. I'll tell her the truth. So you're going to need you need to see an estate attorney. I would do that sooner rather than later. Do you guys have life insurance for yourselves?
Only through work.
Okay, so you're going to need to do that as well. Can you buy more insurance through work?
I can.
So what you should do is you should play around with some insurance calculators, and you may even want to go to – we had a guest on the podcast a couple months ago, and her name is Jennifer Fitzgerald, and her company is Policy Genius. You might want to poke around there and look at some term life insurance. If something happened to either of you, you really want to make sure the other one is protected, and so are those two little babies. So get those things done. Give us a holler back if you need help. I want you to be – I don't even think you would say financial independence. I think what you're saying is you want to have some options, and those options should be open to you depending on whether you want them or not. And you may have to – something may have to give. You might say it's more important for us to build up this business than send our kids to private university. So we're going to save up to do public and then also do this. So it's going to be a really interesting journey for you guys, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much.
Take care. Good luck. That's it for the bonus call of the week. If you'd like to get on the air with us, just send us an email. Ask Jill at JillOnMoney.com. We'll arrange to get you on. Talk to you next time.